What's going on, everyone? So I did a video diving into the wings on this Lakers roster. So I figured let's talk about the guard position, the 1 and the 2 in particular, because those are kind of like the two positions that, surprisingly, Lakers need a very specific type, but also kind of have the most depth in, right? The point guard 2 spot, because I mean, you could even go as far as like LeBron James slotted in and playing the point guard role, or if you need be, but you look at the guard position right now. You have Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves as your starters, most likely. Talked about personally, I'd rather go the defensive side of things. I'd rather go with a Marcus Smart. But Marcus Smart is a guy that, again, can slot in 1 through 3, can be your initiator, can be that kind of, 3-and-D style guard for you, be that point of attack, be that defensive piece, but also slot in at the 2, right? The versatility in that regard. After that, you have Bronny James. We'll see what kind of opportunity and role he gets this year. Is he actually going to get minutes? I think he's a guy, not like 30 minutes a night or starting or even like your primary guard off the bench, but in just like a, spot minutes, on a random night, maybe he starts here and there, but for the most part, he's just playing like, 10 minutes a night just to give him some consistency out there on a regular basis in a backup kind of point of attack versatile guard role. I think he's somebody that could really help in that regard. So, Gabe Vincent, right, gives you another 3-and-D style guard. And if he could pick up where he left off last year, right, towards the end of last year, because remember last year, he was one of like the worst two-way players in basketball. He's like, he had that stretch of like where he was the worst offensive player in basketball and then just like was not great defensively. Then started really kind of coming to his own, finding his shot a little bit. Still had his inconsistencies at times, but you started to see the signs of like the Gabe Vincent we all were hoping for when the Lakers first originally signed him the previous year. So I'm hoping that now with the full offseason, a full training camp, a full preseason, him able to kind of finally get into a rhythm, get into his flow, slotted alongside Luka, slotted alongside LeBron James and Austin Reaves, that he can find his shot and just be more efficient and really be that kind of 2-way 3-and-D style guard for us, right? So you kind of go through the guard position, and Lakers are in good shape. I mean, you even have guys like Jared Vanderbilt. You could slot in at the 2 if you needed to, because he's defending guards anyway, right? And anytime I talk about that, I always get it's funny because you always get the comments from people that are like, he's not a 2 guard. He's like okay, again, it's about defensive positioning, right? Like him slotted in at the 2. I mean, again, most guys, like LeBron isn't really technically a point guard, right? He can just operate as a point guard. He's 6'8". Again, it's positionless basketball. You're slotting guys in for defensive purposes and reasons, which most teams do anyway, right? So on offense, he could slot in at the 4, but on defense, he's at the 2. So you can even go that route and go with bigger lineups, and we're going to see a lot of small ball lineups and stuff like that. But point is, you even have guys like him. Jake LaRavia, I'm not really sure if he could slot into the 2, maybe, right? He is 6'8" in size. I worry about him being able to stay in front of guys. Like, he can defend, a B+ rated defender, but it's one thing to stay in front of like wings and even the twitchier athletic wings. It's another thing to stay in front of like quicker guards. I think certain spots, certain positions, like certain matchups, yes, I think he probably could stay in front of guys and kind of move around. So you could be creative, right? Like Lakers have that versatility. Dalton Connect is another guy that could slot in at the 2 or the 3 for you, right? So you have kind of the versatility at the guard and forward spots, right? But the kind of main group that I'm really looking for, obviously if trades happen or whatever, then those happen. But kind of the main group I'm looking for right now is Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves. I think those are going to be your starters, even though I kind of feel differently about that. And I know a lot of other people do as well. But if we're being honest, it's probably your starters. As far as like the backup goes, I think it's probably Gabe Vincent and Marcus Smart. I think those 2 guys are probably most likely to be the immediate backups for this team, to where Gabe Vincent's kind of filling in and but I don't know, I don't know if they'll go like kind of that shift change, so to speak, the lineup change, where like I don't think you're going to take out a Luka Doncic and an Austin Reaves and then just plug in those. I think what'll happen is it'll be like the trickle in. So like, I think Marcus Smart probably plays a lot more 3 than 2 at times. Right? I think Jared Vanderbilt will probably play more 2 at times than the 3 because he's going to be defending guards. So I'm kind of curious at how, they operate the positionless element of it. Right. But like in concept, I think the idea would be like Reaves goes to the bench, boom, Marcus Smart comes in, right? And then Luka goes to the bench, and then you kind of are alternating Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart slides down to the 3. Maybe LeBron's kind of operating as the primary playmaker, but Gabe Vincent and Marcus Smart are like the initiators, right? So, but all the offense is running through LeBron. So you kind of have Gabe Vincent and Marcus Smart with LeBron as the primary initiator, maybe like an Ayton or whatever, and then maybe you go with like a Jake LaRavia or something for just the floor spacing, scoring, and shooting, or Rui Hachimura or something like that. I think you can kind of get creative with these different lineups. Right? Like, it really boils down to how well does Marcus Smart shoot the 3 ball? How well does Gabe Vincent shoot the 3 ball? I mean, if both guys are like 33% from 3-point range, that's a problem for the Lakers. But if they're both like 37, 38% from 3-point range, then you can be more creative in your lineups and rotations, right? Because you do have the luxury of LeBron James being able to slot it. I mean, technically, you could even go like Luka at the 3, because he's going to probably defend a lot of 3s anyway, just because of his size and his height. So you could even have lineups out there where maybe it's like Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Gabe Vincent, right, with a DeAndre Ayton, and then maybe like a Rui or Jake LaRavia at the 4, right? And then you kind of just have Marcus Smart and Gabe Vincent as your point of attack defensive guards, right? And then you have Luka Doncic slotting in, right? He's going to defend whichever guy's the easiest out of those 3, but just like, position sake or argument's sake, or, Marcus Smart could be the guy at the 3, whatever, however you want to structure it. But essentially have those, the 3 guard lineups, and then have Ayton as that, like, the pick and pop guy as well as kind of the lob threat guy. And then like a Rui or a Ravia or somebody like that for the floor spacing and shooting, or you can just lean in defensively and go like Jared Vanderbilt, right? But point is, like, you can get creative, but a lot of it is predicated on how well our guards shoot the basketball. Because if Gabe Vincent is knocking down, there's a big difference between him shooting 30% from 3-point range and then 8% from 3-point range. Because now you can kind of trust him out there. Now he can be the initiator, boom, get the ball to Luka. Luka can operate, do his thing, and then has the outlet to where he can knock it down with some confidence. Same thing with a Marcus Smart, so on and so forth. Now, I think guys like Bronny James will probably be injected and trickled in. Same thing you can argue with like a Dalton Connect. I think he'll be kind of trickled in and brought in. I think you'll have, for the most part, I think you're going to have kind of the 4 guards, right? But really, I think the only like guys that are going to primarily play guards will be Luka, Austin Reaves, and Gabe Vincent, right? Because I think Marcus Smart will see the 3 spot. I think if you do find minutes for Dalton Connect, it's probably at the 3 spot, right? Like, at times, maybe you could play him at the 2, but I don't know how much he's going to actually be in the rotation, which is another part of like the concerns and questions that I have with him. But like, I think Bronny James, obviously, when he gets trickled in minutes, but is he going to consistently be in the rotation? Are they going to have him in the rotation game after game after game? Probably not. Probably just be, in spots here and there, or a guy gets the night off and it's like, hey, the next 6 games you're going to play 15 minutes or whatever, right? That's kind of where I think they'll figure that out with Bronny James. But as far as, having a, like, what is the guard rotation? I think the only like stable lock-in guards are Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves, and Gabe Vincent, right? Because again, I think they'll interchange guys at that 2 spot in particular. Like, I think Jared Vanderbilt will play that at times. I think, Marcus Smart will play the 3 at times. I think you might see like weird lineups where, maybe you have like Austin Reaves, a Jake LaRavia, a Rui Hachimura, a LeBron James, and like a Jared Vanderbilt or something. You kind of have these, or instead of Austin Reaves, maybe it's Luka, right? And you just kind of have these like, or you go 5 wide units where everyone's like 6'7" or bigger, right? Like, that's the beauty of this Lakers team, is like you can go and have like different creative lineups. Like, even small ball isn't going to be that small, right? Small ball, I mean, you can deploy literally 7 or 5, 6, 8 guys, or 6, 7, I guess, and above, because you could go Luka, right? Luka, LeBron, Jake LaRavia, Rui Hachimura, And then you can go with like a Jared Vanderbilt if you want, or even like if you want to keep the floor space, do Thero offensively, or sorry, defensively, not offensively, defensively. You know, you even have guys like Maxi Kleber who could spread the floor, knock down the three ball, right? There is options for creativity here, but the guard position in particular is what I'm interested to see, right? Because I think a lot of it really hinges on how well does Gabe Vincent shoot the basketball. Right, because you know he'll get after defense. He's going to be out there, but he problem is he can't really. He's not great at defending bigger regularly. You know, I've seen people point out like, oh, but he did it. Like he has moments. Like yeah, of course he can get a stop. Alex Caruso got like 3 straight stops against Jokic, right? But is that what you want happening every game? You know, all night, no, right? Like again, a stretch or a sequence or something like that is not the same thing as like. Now we need this guy every night to do this, right? Like, you know, again, Gabe Vincent can hold his own if he gets switched on and stuff, but it's not like ideal. Right? You want him on opposing 1s and 2s, not having to switch on 3s. But a lot of it hinges on how well does he play, you know, and how well does he shoot the basketball? Because I think him, Luka, and Reaves are the only ones that are going to be locked into the guard position. Right? I think for the most part, everyone else is going to be. You know, I think you're going to have guys that are 3s slotted in at the point guard or at the 2 guard, so on and so forth. I think you'll see a lot of like interchangeable lineups. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.